Baltimore, Maryland to Detroit, Michigan.
Sticking them, huh?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I lived along the road. And the engineer on the passenger train would stop the damn thing, put me on the engine, and ride me 3 miles to school. That evening he'd come back, he'd stop and pick me up. I fished and caught good fish. Give them to him. I ride the engine anytime I wanted to. That's against the rules.
Yeah.
I blow the whistle and
Pull
pull the brake on it. 20 years I did that.
Well, I've been practicing 24 hours in every state in the United States. On the way from Prince Rupert, Canada, 40 miles from the Alaska border to the Canadian Rockies 3 times. Yeah, and I had a great experience, with Pullman. And then from the Pullman in 1950, when they all merged and got rid of the Pullman, and I went back on the track, so then I started working as an instructor, building track. So I went from that to an operator on one of the pieces of equipment that replaced the engine. And then I got dumped off of that. Had an accident, dumped off of that. Threw about 15 feet.
I want to tell you something. I'm a white man, you black. My grandfather and grandmother raised kept black people. And they treated them good. And I treated them good. And my dad told me, he said, if you ever insult a black person, I put that right across your lips.
Well, he told you right.
He didn't have to tell me that.
Yeah, he told you right.
And my best memory is living with black people.
Well,
Playing an art, speaking.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you one thing. Most places you go, you find that some of the best friends to white is black.
Well, I found that in the back, I'll tell you that.
They'll be with you a long time and the rest of them turn their back on you.
It works both ways. It works both ways. Love is a two-way street.
That's right. Yeah.
You said you're going to be doing that. Love is a two-way street.
So I'm 77 years old and I've been around. Yeah. And my wife.
I'm older, I've got him beat.
But how many years?
Take a picture here.
Come on, how many years you got?
Come over here. Come over here. Yeah, come over here.
Come on out.
Okay.
How many years you got me?
Huh?
How many years?
2. I got you 2. That's too many.
Yes, it is.
You get it?
I wouldn't like to hang for 2 years.
Hit her picture. Jack.
You're still laying track.
You're laying back.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Hey, but I'd help drive them spikes.
Yeah, I'm in that
What do you guys call them spikes? Dollies or babies?
No,
or?
we call them spikes.
Do you call them spikes?
But you know what? We call them jump stumps sometimes. When you hit them sometimes,
jump out of the way.
Oh my God. They knock your head off too.
That's right.
You ain't right.
The name of the game is don't miss.
It's been a pleasure, boys, to have you here.
Yeah.
You're looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to twirl that. I mean, I still can twirl a little, but I can't twirl like I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could tip tap and go across the rail on the ball, then roll up my shoulder, come on with the act on one of those shoulders, start all over again.
I worked in an aircraft factory. A lot of machines are growling and complaining, a lot of noise. And I whistle like a train. I could holler it.
Yeah.
I could take it easier, whip it up loud, and I'd do it without moving my lip. And the guys were working, they couldn't figure out where that damn train was coming from. I did that for a year or 2.
Yep. Well, we're going to be kicking off here now in a little while. Yeah. I'll go over and get my sound set up.
I'll be out there with the spikes to you, Director.
I'm gonna give you a call and let me know how it sounds. It's too loud or too low. Okay.
Andrew, how you doing, buddy?
Let's check our sound, Andy.
Testing 1 2 1 2 testing.
Yeah.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Hey, where is the sound?
Yes, it has. Real good sound.
Oh, great.
Are you with TV?
I'm with this organization. I'm with the Apple Shop. We do some stuff on public television, on KT. Sometimes we get them to run our stuff.
Yes.
We're real excited to have you here, though.
We're glad to be come. We're glad to be come. Yes.
I think he just weighs about 82 pounds.
Yeah, well, I didn't weigh much more than that. They had 4 in there, and they started taking them out up the stairs. I called that nurse. I said, "Get me a damn wheelchair. I want out of here."
Yeah.
These people are dying. I ain't ready.
You know Sam back, don't you?
Yeah.
D.Y. Field said if he took him down Lexington, they was going to put him in the hospital. Said then they brought him down the stairs and sitting there in a wheelchair, and they rolled another fella down. Said, said his cheekbone stuck up that fur.
Yeah.
Sam looked around and said, "Are you going up?" You know, it was they going to put him in the hospital.
Yeah.
Said, he said, "Yeah," and Sam said, "You'll never come back down."
He had that about right, I imagine. I want to see that fella right there.
Yeah, I see a fella right in there I want to see too.
Did your company get you?
They weigh 30 pounds. I took this one and reduced it to the lowest term.
So how much does this one weigh?
About 5. I got a pipe. It's a pipe. It's hollow, you know.
So how long did you do this?
Oh my God. I was pulling a porter for 14 years, and all told I got 25 years on the radio. The rest of the time I was doing, construction, building track, and a little on the section hand, and then I did a little bit with the computerized. That was in '67.
When did you start working?
When did I start working? Started working when I was 6 years old. I had no child life at all. Yeah, everything was. I started with the mule and the plow and the lines, you know. Then I went from there. I went to Maryland, and I started with the steel mill, building ships during the war. And when I went in the service and I came out in 1943, the shipyard was going down because they had started revitalized everything because of the war. So that's when I started with the Pullman, bringing soldiers back and taking them across the country. So I worked with that for a while. Then I came from there back on the tracks.
Where were you born?
I was born in 1919 in Smithfield, Virginia, the ham country. They called me ham. My father used to cure all of the hams there, so they called me ham, But it was a beautiful sight there. A little small town right on a little branch off of the James River. It came off of the James River, then it went back into the James River. Something like a little loop, and a little island was over on the other side. But we used to load watermelons on a little old gasoline engine boat and go pop, 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 pop. You carry about 500 or 600 watermelons on there, and level it right off with the water, and pull a canvas hatch over top of it, and then we dip water from there to Norfolk. And that was like 18, 20 miles on the road, but it would be like 5 or 6 miles on the water. But it still take them all night to go.
Well, now, how come you begin doing this as a kind of a performance? Why are you doing this?
What, now?
Yeah.
What we doing now, because it's the lost cause. And when we're gone, I don't know what's going to happen, because we're trying to recruit youngsters now. But youngsters, they're not interested in it. So everybody out here running in the age of, well, you may have a couple that is 65, but everybody else is like 70 and 80 years old. And we're doing it because it's history. And when we do this, we feel like that we are showing somebody what we used to do. And what we used to do was work. It was a part of history, and it's a part of life. Because without the design and bar gang, building the tracks and maintaining the track, the train couldn't have gone. And if the train wouldn't run your freight, and passengers couldn't get across the country. So it was essential that it was done. And it was supposed to be a pretty good job. Then he was getting $3 and something a day. And when we was on the farm, we were getting 50 and 75 cents a day.
Hard work, though, right?
Everything's hard work. And right today, if a person put their heart and soul in what they're doing, it's gonna be hard work. The only way it won't be hard work is because they don't have any interest in it at all. And if they don't have any interest in it, they're not gonna progress nowhere. So, you know, the main thing in life is that a person having a goal and having something in common. And my real love is for music. I've been singing music since I was 6 years old too. Spiritual, blues, anything that would pertain to the way I felt while I was working, I was singing. You know what I mean? Such as songs like, I'm a stranger here, just in your town. I'm a stranger here, just in your town. Just because I'm a stranger, everybody trying to dog me around. So all those are things like that, you know what I mean, is in life. And we have guys here who are really dedicated to this. Now you take Mr. White, the guy who, Mr. White. Now you take Mr. White. This is Mr. Charles White. You take Mr. White now. He is dedicated. I mean, you know, he's the man that found us, and he's responsible for all these men being here. You know, and like I said, it's history. When we stop, what's gonna happen, Mr. White?
That'll be it.
Tell them what we got to do this year.
What you mean? Where we got to go?
Yeah, where we going this year?
Well, next week we'll be in Manassas, Virginia, and after that we'll be in Stanford, North Carolina. We go after that to Lynchburg.
And then
Atlanta,
Virginia, right?
Well, that's a
small place.
yeah. And we go to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, that's right.
How does it feel to be in the mountains?
In the
How's it
mountains?
in the mountains?
Oh my gracious, coming in.
Well, I grew up in the mountains, but I've never seen anything like Black Mountain coming. That was rough. We made a wrong turn.
You came up through Harlan County?
We should have turned north on 23, and we turned south.
We took a trail of the Lonesome Pine, right?
Yeah.
And I ain't seen a pine tree
I
nowhere.
saw a sign, something there said, what was it?
You went over you know what you did is you went over the highest mountain in Virginia.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Yeah.
What was that little sign? What was that sign?
Some, I forget the name of it. Eddie, come here a minute. What was that place we kept saying we were going to get to?
Coming
some
up.
kind of quote from the Bible. What was it? Kingdom Come?
Yeah,
Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the Plum Nelly. Kingdom Come. Yeah, that's State Park right over here. That's pretty close over here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Kingdom
Yeah.
Come.
Yeah, Kingdom Come.
I know a woman that...
When thou will be done.
Yeah, that was. I've been over Gawley Mountain in West Virginia and North and Long Mountain. I grew up near those mountains, but I've never seen anything like that.
And Blue Ridge Mountain.
Yeah, but nothing like that.
Sure. Well, I tell you, I kind of enjoyed it.
I did
Kind of
too.
reminds me up there about Montebello off the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
very much
really
like it.
The
enjoyed
only
it.
thing I thought y'all was going to stop took I take a couple of pictures, but you never stopped.
There wasn't any place to
I was wondering what how those women were doing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Coming around those curious up
Yeah.
mountains.
What's that, the media?
We work over here.
Virginia over in Buckingham County, and they're a famous group. They've gone all over the country. They reenact old railroad work songs, and they've traveled throughout the United States. Charles H. White is the organizer of the group, and he's going to tell you more as the reenactment is in progress. Welcome.
ready.
Thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for coming to watch the Line and Bar Gang. As Jim told you, we are from Central Virginia. Most of us are from Buckingham, Virginia. And in case you want to know where that is, it's in the center of the state of Virginia, the exact center. We are a group that reenacts old railroad work, where work songs were used to straighten tracks. In the old days of railroading, and is today, tracks need constant maintenance. If you look at that track and look at what goes over it, that track is a very flimsy thing, and it required constant maintenance. And back in the old days of railroading, thousands of men were employed to keep the tracks in proper order. This was back-breaking work, very, very dangerous work. More of these men were killed and maimed on the railroads of the nation than any other single group of people. This was also the lowest paid group. And this was the only group that actually lived on the tracks. Most of these men spent most of their lives away from their families, living in camp cars, because they had to live on the tracks. And this was a group called out for derailments and whatever was necessary to keep the trains moving. They called on this group. Now we'll tell you more about them later on, but one of the operations they had to perform was track lining, where they had to move the track rail, tire, and the ballast left or right in order to straighten it. Today this work is done by huge computerized machines, but in the old days, strong men with steel bars lined the track. Now, it was necessary for all of the men to heave on that bar at the same time. This they accomplished with cadence. And the cadence here was work songs. A man in the group with a strong bass, a baritone voice, would be known as a caller. And it was his job to think up these little ditties. And they had to be funny. And of course, men working out by themselves away from children, you can imagine. And but we have, with our group, we have had to change quite a bit of the wording of some of these old songs. As I often say, some of these rap groups that we hear so much fuss about, these fellows could make them sound like a church choir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, listen now as the Line and Bar Gang straightens the track. And we have three calls.
Get right, boys. Get right. And then, wait a minute, Captain. All right. What you say? Then we're going to say, reading I love my baby so. Take $5, give me $4. Reading I love my baby so. Take $5, give me $4. Reading I love my baby so. Take $5, give me $4. Come on.
Baltimore. She used to love me, but she don't no more. I got a gal in Baltimore. She used to love me, but she don't no more. I got a gal in Baltimore. She used to love me, but she don't no more. Hey, boy, you know what? Hey, I got a gal in New Orleans, the meanest gal I ever seen. I got a gal in New Orleans, the meanest gal I ever seen. I got a gal in New Orleans, the meanest gal I ever seen. Hey, boy, listen, now, you know what? I got a gal in Kansas City. The gal can't cook, but she sure is pretty. I got a gal in Kansas City. The gal can't cook, but she sure is pretty. I got a gal in Kansas City. The gal can't cook, but she sure is pretty. Whoa, boy. You know what that is now? I got a gal, she's long and tall. She sleeps in the kitchen with her feet up in the hall. I got a gal, she's long and tall. She sleeps in the kitchen with her feet in the hall. I got a gal, she's long and tall. She sleeps in the kitchen with her feet in the hall.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, these songs have been changed quite a bit.
Sit down, man. Let me tell you what I got. I got a gal on yonder hill. Huh? All right. I got a gal on yonder hill. She won't dance but sister will. I got a gal on yonder hill. She won't dance but sister will. I got a gal.
They had another tour they did, Driving Spikes, which they did with song and with competition also. Each man had to be the champion spike driver. Now, of course, today this is done by, as we said, computerized machines. Now, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet Harry Morris. Harry is 80 years old. Harry has had both hips replaced, and Harry survived the Great Battle of Iwo Jima. This is Wirt Johnson. He's 76 years old, and he and Harry used to race each other driving spikes. And watch them as they do what they did 50 years ago.
Yeah, boy. How did you get from around it? Now, I'm going to tell you what you do here, boy. You know how to put the one. Yeah. Chicken in the pot, chicken in the pan, chicken was made for a railroad man. Tighten up, boy, now tighten up. Tighten up, boy, now tighten up. Tighten up, chicken. Get the man down.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet the oldest man we had. Now, I told you we had an 80-year-old. Now, I want you to meet an 81-year-old. And he's going to die with E.J. Holloway. Now, he's 79. Now, these two men, I thought last year we were going to lose them. This man had bypass surgery in December. And this man had a very serious operation in last summer. November. I'm sorry, it wasn't last summer, it was November. Now they're here back driving spikes, and we thought this is something we'd never see out of them again.
All right, I want a good man, a managed voice.
I'm sure.
I want no steppers.
Hey, now. Oh.
Beat it in the ground, boy.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank Cockrell here. He's 69, and the old gentleman is going to show him how to drive spikes.
All right. Tighten up, boy. Tighten up. Tighten up, boy. Tighten up. Tighten up, boy. Tighten up. Take on. See all night?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, when these men worked on the railroad many years ago,
union contracts stated that they could not become foreman or hold supervisory positions. And like anyone else, when you work at something over a period of time, you get matter proficiency. Actually, some of these men became so proficient that the C&O Railroad designated them as foreman trainers. They did not pay them or recognize them, but they actually trained their foreman. And so naturally they had songs for the foreman.
All right, sit down, Captain. I'm going to talk about you now, Captain. Just a minute. Now, listen. Just a minute. Pink slips. Tell them something on you, Captain. Watch your mouth. Captain with a paper in his hand, though we can even sign his name. Captain standing with a paper in his hand, though we can even sign his name. Captain standing with a paper in his hand, though we can even sign his name. I saw the captain last night. Stop all you want me, Captain. I saw him last night. The captain drank a bottle of gin. Now we can't tell where he been. Captain drank a bottle of gin. Now we can't tell where he been. Captain drank a bottle of gin. Now we can't tell where he been. Hang on, break down that while.
Wood Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, 70